This is how we dump it. This is how we dump it. I don't know about you, but I want to keep the casserole party going. Yes, over the last few weeks, I have brought you guys a lot of casserole recipes. I've done a garlicky quinoa casserole, a sausage and egg breakfast casserole, a smoky lentil casserole. You could say that I have been on a bit of a casserole bender, you guys. But you know what? I'm fine with it, because casseroles are amazing. They're so easy to make, they're so simple. You take ingredients, you dump them in a casserole dish, you pop it in the oven, walk away, come back like an hour later, and dinner's done. So I'm gonna give you guys 2 more amazing plant-based casseroles that are high protein, gluten-free, plant-based, full of flavors, so easy to make, great for meal prep, great for feeding a crowd. So without further ado, let's get right into our first casserole. We're gonna start with a totally plant-based vegan chicken fajita casserole. And our chicken substitute is soy curls. If you've never heard of soy curls, they are the chicken of the plant world. They are fantastic. They're a whole food, single ingredient. They're just made from soybeans. They're high in protein, high in fiber, so delicious. All you have to do to use them is rehydrate them in water and then just season them and cook them. As for the other fine ingredients, you're gonna need some essential fajita things like bell peppers. We're gonna be using red and green, but you can use whatever bell peppers you like. An onion, some black beans, canned, already cooked, a jar of salsa, some spices, quinoa, and veggie broth. And I bet you have most of these ingredients already, so you could literally go make this right now. Let's get right into it. First step is to put your soy curls into a large heat-safe bowl, and we are just going to pour some boiling hot water right over top of them. Now all you have to do is literally just let them sit, soak up the water for about 10 minutes while we prepare our veggies. So we don't have very much veggie prep for this recipe, like 2 minutes tops. We're gonna take our 2 bell peppers and we're going to slice them into long strips in the classic fajita style. And same thing with our onion. I'm also just using a yellow onion, but red onion would be great, or a sweet onion. Just slice them into long, thin strips like this. Gorgeous, darling, just gorgeous. Okay, things are going well here, folks. We have let our soy curls rehydrate. I just squeezed the water out of them into a mesh sieve, so now they're plump and juicy like little meaty morsels. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dump these into a larger bowl, and we're gonna add in our chopped veggies. For the seasoning, we are going to just add a little bit of olive oil. A tablespoon is all you need, just to kind of help the veggies and the soy curls crisp up a little bit as they bake. And we're gonna add in our fajita spices. We've got chili powder, cumin, kosher salt, garlic powder, and some dried oregano. Now we're just gonna give it all a good toss. You can get in there with your hands or just kind of do this. Beautiful. So now just grab yourself a 9x13 casserole dish, something like this, kind of medium large-ish. And we are literally going to dump and bake. Which brings me to our ingredients. We got about 15 ounces here of black beans, just like a large 15-ounce can of black beans will do. Just drain them and rinse them. Dump them. We've got 1 cup of quinoa. This is uncooked, still dry. If yours does not come pre-rinsed, go ahead and do that in the sink with a mesh sieve. Dump that in. Plus 1 3/4 cup of veggie broth. If we don't have veggie broth, water will do, but if you have veggie broth, use it because it adds a little bit of extra flavor. And lastly, we have a 16-ounce jar of salsa. Now this is really up to you. Whatever is your favorite salsa. It could be chunky, it could be kind of thin and runny. I think thick and chunky would be preferable. I didn't have that, I just have this stuff, which is a little bit on the runny side, but that's fine. As long as it's 16 ounces, just pour the whole thing in. And now just give it a little mixy to combine. So easy. Now that our black bean and quinoa base is kind of mixed up together in the dish, all we gotta do is pour over our soy curls and veggies on top. That's it, literally. This is how we dump it. This is how we dump it. You just kind of press everything down a little bit. So pretty. Oh. Now just cover it with some foil. And then bake for 40 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So once the casserole has finished its 40 or so minutes of baking, what I recommend you do next is one of 2 things. If you want, the first option is to add a little bit of plant-based vegan cheddar cheese shreds on top, pop it back in the oven and let it sit under the broiler for about 4 to 5 minutes just to get the cheese nice and melted and achieve a little bit of browning and crisping up of the top layer of veggies and the soy curls. Or option 2 is to just skip the cheese, which I am doing in this video, but still popping it back under the broiler for about 5 minutes just to get the top layer of those bell peppers and onions and the soy curls really nice and crisped up until they're brown and beautiful. Mwah! A little bit of extra chef's kiss, you know? Oh, you guys, this looks so good. I topped mine with some plant-based sour cream, some green onions, a little squeeze of lime juice, you know, as you do with fajitas. Let's give her a taste test. This is an enormous mouthful. Oh my God, this is so amazing. The only thing it's missing is like some crispy tortilla chips to just scoop up all this goodness. A little bit of fresh avocado on top. This is amazing, you guys. This literally tastes like I'm eating a fajita. You're welcome. Make this. Another day, another casserole. That's right, we're moving on to recipe number 2 of this video, and that is none other than a scrumptious tofu teriyaki dump and bake casserole. Yes, it is very much a dump and a bake, and it uses a ton of veggies, which is great. The reason why that's great is that you don't necessarily have to use all the same veggies that I have. You can really use whatever you need to use up in your fridge and kind of swap out as you need to. Before we get into the fine veggies that we'll be using in this casserole, I'm gonna show you how to make a totally delicious but super simple, yes, lots of hand movements, super simple stovetop teriyaki sauce. It's what makes this dish so flippin' tasty. So let me show you how to do it real fast. Okay, so we need just a couple fresh elements for the teriyaki sauce, that being fresh ginger root and a hefty amount of garlic cloves. I recommend 5, but if you're sensitive to garlic, you can use 3. And then we're just going to grate them up with a microplaner until they're nice and finely minced. Next, you're gonna need one of these things, a little tiny saucepan or a little sauce pot, and we're going to dump the garlic and the ginger into the saucepan, followed by half a cup of soy sauce. This could also be tamari, plus some coconut sugar for a little bit of sweetness. You could also use brown sugar. And lastly, we're gonna add 3 tablespoons of mirin. Then we're just gonna bring it over to the stove, give it a good whisk to dissolve the coconut sugar as best as you can, trying not to slosh all over the place. Whoa, I called it, wow. And we're just going to bring this up to like a very gentle boil, kind of like a rapid simmer. That should only take about 5-ish minutes or so. And in the meantime, we can do a really quick veggie prep. So we're gonna keep the veggies pretty simple here, folks. I'm using up my broccoli, one, kind of small-ish crown, 2 medium-ish carrots, and a nice big handful of French green beans. So we're gonna just trim off the ends of the green beans and cut them in half lengthwise. We're going to slice our carrots into like kind of diagonal coins and chop our broccoli into small bite-sized florets. Once all those veggies are chopped up, you can just go and plunk them into your casserole dish. And the last thing we're gonna quickly chop up is our block of tofu. I'm using just a good old 13-ounce block of extra firm tofu. If you have super firm, or you can find it, that is even better because it kind of holds its shape better and kind of crumbles up less in the casserole when it's baking. But it's really no worries if you have extra firm. It's still gonna be totally fine. So we're just gonna cube this up real quick, toss it in the casserole, followed by our last 2 ingredients, which I have yet to reveal. We've got 1 cup of frozen, almost thawed now, shelled edamame beans. These are basically young green soybeans, and they are so high in protein and fiber and lots of goodness. So they're a great high protein add-in. Then just give the veggies and the edamame a quick toss with your hands, and then you can go ahead and sprinkle over 1 cup of white jasmine rice or white basmati rice. Make sure you just give it a real good rinse before you sprinkle it over. And then you just gotta pour over that hot teriyaki sauce. So easy. And then all you have to do now is just using a spatula, kind of spread the rice and everything else into as even of a layer as you possibly can, kind of trying to submerge the rice underneath the broth if you can. I know it looks a little bit challenging, but I believe in you and I know that you can do it. Oh, so gorgeous, darling. Now all we have to do is put some foil on top And then pop her in the oven to bake for 45 minutes at 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Yoink. All right, y'all, things are looking terry and yaki. I am very, very excited for this teriyaki casserole. Oh my gosh. Smells so good. Oh, I'm making eyes with my cameraman right now. You guys, this is insanely delicious. This is so easy. Sweet, tangy, garlicky, gingery. That teriyaki sauce just coats everything, and the rice is sticky and tender and soft, and the tofu is cooked to perfection. This is just so good. Two incredible casseroles that I hope you guys love. They're vegan, gluten-free, high protein, and I hope you make them. Let me know if you do. I have so many other casseroles on the channel that I've recently made, like this video here and this video, so check them out if you haven't already. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you, yeah, you, in another video real soon. Bye-bye.